Hello and welcome back. Well, I did promise you a project. I didn't expect to take this long overdoing it, but there you are, one project coming up. This is the last piece of wood that I got from UKIS last year, and it's a rather chunky piece of Purpleheart. This is it, and I've been wondering what to do with it, and finally I've decided I'm going to have a go at a winged bowl. I've never done that before. This is quite a heavy wood. It's going to be interesting to see how it turns out. I must confess that having a little trepidation, but we'll see how it goes. What I've done is I've squared it up and I've put my worm screw on the back, what will be the top of the bowl eventually. So I'm going to get this into the chuck and make a start on the bottom of the bowl. Not going to do anything fancy. This will be the bottom, so I'm just going to sweep the sides up, and then when I do the top I'll scallop in slightly, and we'll see where it goes. So in for a penny and for a pound. I'll see you at the lathe. Okay, so we're at the lathe. What I'm going to do now is just square this face off. I need to put a mortise in the bottom for when I rotate it. I was going to put a foot on this and take it off, but when I checked the cold jaws that I have, they're not quite big enough for this piece, so I'm going to put a mortise in the bottom so that I can turn it round eventually, and then try and take this edge away. Let's see what happens. First have a look at that. It just feels very weird, although it's not quite as scary as I was expecting. As you can see, I really haven't turned that much off at the moment, but it is starting to come off. So I'm going to carry on with this and see how I do. I need to sort this out first, get this mortise sorted out. One thing I've got to remember to do is not to try and stop the lathe while this is spinning, not try to put my hand on here to slow it down, which really and truly you should never do, of course. Anyway, but might hurt a bit with this. Right, time to work on the bowl itself now then. Just leave a small foot and take the rest away, I think. you can start to see the curve coming on that. I'll give you a better camera angle in a little while, but I think you can see that that's starting to come together. The question is how far I take that. We'll keep going for a bit yet. Yep, I think that'll do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sand this up. Now I obviously can't sand it in the traditional way too easily. I'm going to try and use my ball sander a little bit, and maybe power sand a bit. We'll see, I'll come back to you when I've done that. So the bottom of the piece has got some Danish oil on it and 2 coats of sanding sealer, which are now dry. And I'm now going to finish off with some Hampshire Sheen microcrystalline wax. As you can see, it's white. It's quite soft. Feels a little bit like Vaseline, actually. That's what it reminds me of. And I'm just going to put this on by hand. It's very soft. It goes on really nicely. So there's a coat on. So I'm going to try and buff this carefully with the lathe running. Got a very nice smell to it, this wax. Completely different to the others. I can buff safely to about there. I shall do the rest by hand. This is the first time I've used the microcrystalline wax. And I'll have a second coat on there, I think. This is building up a really nice patina and quite silky as opposed to high gloss. guess this is where a small buffing mop would come in very handy. But as I say, I'm not after a truly high gloss finish, and this is really nice. You can see that, and you can see the chatoyance in the wood as it rotates. Right, I'm going to give that a little bit of time and then turn it round in the chuck and do the other side. So finally I've just got a little bit of 600 Rhino grip. I'm just going to go around the edges, just take the sharp edge off. Right, give that a clean now. So just using a little bit of methylated spirits or denatured alcohol if you prefer. And that will evaporate off. It's got a really nice curve on it. I'm very pleased with that. So next I'm going to use some Danish oil. rub it well into the wood. That's quite a nice finish on its own, isn't it? I'll just put a bit more light on for you. But Danish oil does help just lift the wood ever so slightly. This particular Danish oil has a UV filter in it as well, which will just help stop it fading. So next, sanding sealer. And I shall put on a second coat of that. Make sure that there's a really good base there for the wax. So I'll just give that a couple of minutes to dry. Really is some nice figure in this particular piece of Purpleheart. It's come out quite well. Very pleased with it. So finally, I'm just going to finish with Hampshire Sheen microcrystalline wax. Now that is beautiful. It truly is beautiful. So there we are. Quite lovely, isn't it? Okay, I'll let that dry, get it off a lathe and show you it finished. So there we are. No disasters. Everything worked out roughly as planned. I perhaps chose the wrong wood to do my first winged bowl or whatever it is, but it's done and it looks okay. Winged bowl, perhaps a square plate or platter, not sure whether it's winged or not. It's definitely square, as you can see. Lovely finish on it with the microcrystalline wax, and there's the back of it. Very pleased with the way that's finished, and give it a couple of days for the microcrystalline wax to set off and for the Purpleheart to start going purple again. It's started in one or two places already, so it will change colour, and I'm very pleased with it. I'll put a couple of pictures up at the end as always. So, a square plate, winged ball, call it what you like. Yes. As it was quite difficult to cut, I think I'll call it Purple Pain. How about that? A massive thanks to all of you who've subscribed to the channel. I know I've been pretty slow of late, but hopefully I'm on the mend and I'm starting to do work in the workshop again. So there'll be a few more projects coming up. I quite enjoyed this one. It was something I hadn't done before. It took me right out of my comfort zone, and the piece is nice and simple, as I like to do, but I'm very, very pleased with the finish. To all the new subscribers, a very big welcome. I'm not quite as prolific as some of the turners out there, but I do hope you enjoy what I put out. I do try and keep it simple. I'm a relatively new wood turner, and if you haven't watched my videos before, have a look at the 10 questions video. That'll give you a good idea of my background and why I started wood turning. So please do like, share and subscribe, and please do leave a comment below. It'd be great to get your feedback on the project, and it's nice to be back in the workshop turning again. So until the next time, thanks very much for watching, and bye for now.